Jim Grivich. As you know, I normally have an overhead, but we had some technical difficulties in getting it here tonight, so it will not be available for the audience. I apologize to the audience for that. I'm actually here primarily because of an article I read in the San Gabriel Valley Tribune on August 5th. One of the city officials is quoted as having said, it isn't a spending problem we have now, it's a revenue problem. And when I read that, I was actually distressed. And the reason I was distressed is I've been appearing before the City Council now for just about 4 years. And if I have said anything at all in those 4 years, is that the city has failed to manage its budget properly. I presented the same charts over and over again, and I'm giving the same chart that I did last year once again, and I'm going to go over it in some detail. Because if there isn't an understanding of this, it's kind of hopeless that our city will ever manage its budget. In the last 5 years, the city has had an extreme increase in revenue. I'm going to repeat that. In the last 5 years, the city has had an extreme increase in revenue. The revenue has gone up over 5% per year. That's a lot of money. The consumer's price index has only gone up less than 2% a year during that same time frame. Believe it or not, I've done government budgets for 50 years. It's kind of, think how old I am now. I have never had a situation like that in all those 50 years where the money came in at that level above consumer price index. In fact, most of the years, more than half of them, the revenue that came in was less than the consumer price index. We had to explain to our employees year after year, we couldn't even give them 2% on their raise because there was no money. And yet, this city is blessed with so much money. And yet, somehow or other, they feel that they don't have revenue. I cannot understand how people can misread numbers like this. It's so obvious. The next chart I'd like to talk about is on the expenditure side. Yes, the city has an expenditure problem and has had a problem for the last 3 years. Now, this is only a 3-year time frame. Each and every year, I've got up before the City Council and said the city has to manage its expenditures. They have to control their expenditures. They have to stay within budget. Each of those 3 years, it has not happened. I define that as an expenditure problem. The city is not managing its budget, and has not. And yes, I've heard assurances by the current city manager that that won't happen this year. Great. My applause if it doesn't happen this year. But I think it is absolutely and totally inaccurate and wrong to state that the city does not have an expenditure problem. It has a serious expenditure problem. The red line representing expenditures, as you can see, is well above the budget each and every year. If it had stayed within budget, the city would now have $10 million more than it has right now. That's a lot of money, simply because of mismanagement of money.